morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a look at the new set. It has been officially revealed. It is going to be called Rebel Clash. It is going to be officially released on Friday the 1st of May. This is not particularly new or exciting information. Well, it's exciting, but we all knew it was going to be the 1st of May because sets are released on the first Friday of the month. It will be legal for tournament play on the 15th of May, which will be the same day I'm celebrating my lovely darling baby daughter's 2nd birthday. So, shall we say I will be slightly distracted on that particular day. Speaking of distracted, I know that a couple of you did tweet at me asking for this news a little bit earlier. Thank you to those people. Always love being reminded of stuff, genuinely, because, I mean, first of all, there are things that I miss, and then people tweet at me, and I'm like, oh yeah, didn't see that. And secondly, even if I've seen it, it's quite nice to know people are thinking about me and trying to help. Makes you all lovely people. It's been nuts for news the last few days, though, to be clear. It's been a little bit silly. But anyway, what do we know about this set? Well, it's actually been revealed on the official Pokemon website, and it's called Rebel Clash. Now, we knew the name previously. What we didn't know was the logo, and the logo, it is extremely reminiscent of the kind of imagery you would see in 70s punk in the UK. It is blatantly taking off those logos you would see on some of those punk bands from the 70s, etc. So that's kind of cool. And Rebel Clash again. I mean, Rebel like Punch, Clash like The Clash. I refuse to believe this set, in terms of the logo and the name, is not inspired by 70s punk. Just putting that out there. Now, we are told there are over 190 cards, but actually, if we have a quick look, we can see that there are, in fact, 192 cards, plus secret rares. There will be dozens of new Pokemon from the Galar region. It generally takes about 3 English sets to get through all of the new Pokemon from a set, or from a generation, so that should probably not terribly surprise you all that much. And then we're given some specifics. 15 new Pokemon V and 7 new Pokemon VMAX. And then 15 trainer cards and 4 new special energy. Well, the great news is, ladies and gentlemen, that actually we know quite a bit about what these cards are. You see, these sets are actually an amalgamation of Japanese sets. Now, they are getting ever so slightly smaller than they used to, because what we see here is a mixture of VMAX Rising, Japan's Sword and Shield 1A set, and then Rebellion Crash, Japan's Sword and Shield 2 set. So we can look at the cards that have been revealed. Now, VMAX Rising has been fully revealed. We've seen a bunch of cards from Rebellion Crash. It's really interesting to note, we usually do not have similar set names in Japan and outside of Japan. Like, our team-up was their Tag Bolt. Their sets for a while were named after the GX attacks of the, I suppose, poster Pokemon from the particular set. So it's kind of interesting to see we've actually got the same set name, or at least the closest we've had in an extremely long time. And we haven't seen all of Rebellion Crash. That should all be revealed on the Japanese website on Friday, so 5 days from when I record this. But we still have seen a whole bunch. Now, in terms of Pokemon V, like I said, we haven't seen all of them, but we have seen a few. We know that we're getting a Toxtricity V. That is a second one of them. We know that we are getting Dubwool. Now, Dubwool I particularly like, because for free energy, you do 120 damage base plus 50 for each prize card your opponent has taken. That adds up pretty quickly as a great revenge Pokemon. We're seeing Boltund, who's looking pretty gosh darn good. 1 lightning, 1 colorless energy, 30 damage for each energy attached to lightning energy, all of your Pokemon. That can add up pretty gosh darn quickly. We're also getting Sandaconda V, and I should mention I've done videos about all of these Pokemon. I will pop links to them in the description. But 220 damage for free energy does not sound terrible to me. We know what the first partner Pokemon are coming out. Rillaboom V, really nice Pokemon, 4 energy, 220. 30 to itself, but still that's a lot of damage. Goes brilliantly with the Rillaboom from Sword and Shield that accelerates grass energy from the deck. We know we're getting Cinderace V. Now, Cinderace V itself isn't particularly amazing, but the VMAX is awesome. We'll get to that in a moment. And we're getting Inteleon V. And again, Inteleon V itself is fine, but it is the VMAX, which is really good and seeing a lot of play in Japan at the moment. They were the ones that we knew from VMAX Rising, but we did just have a couple revealed from Rebellion Crash. We know we're getting Dragapult, and I quite like Dragapult, if I'm honest with you. I don't think it's a phenomenal card, but I do think that there is absolutely a lot to like about it. It's got an attack which does 30 damage for 1 energy, and incidentally that will go and get a straight one-hit KO on Pokemon like Mew that do actually see a fair bit of play. And then it's got an attack for 3 energy, which deals 140 damage if you became active this turn, and you can make that happen. And we're getting Eldegoss. Now, Eldegoss is supposed to be the new Dedenne or Tapu Lele. What it actually does is when you play it from your hand onto your bench, you get to pick a supporter card up from your discard pile. It's Versus Seeker. It is Versus Seeker as an ability. I don't know if it's going to be quite as good as Tapu Lele and Dedenne, but I do think it's going to see quite a lot of play. Now, they're the 9 that we've been shown so far. There are a couple of promos, etc. that could make it into the set, but we don't know that, so let's not get there soon. Maybe a couple of the promos get in, maybe they're yet to be revealed. We will find out fairly soon. But we do know 6 of the 7 Pokemon VMAX. Kind of. You see, in the reveal, they actually told us we were going to be getting a Copperajah VMAX. And we've not seen that, but Copperajah, we assume, is in Rebellion Crash over in Japan, so let's say we actually know 10 of the 15, and I'm a big fan of Copperajah. What I really like here is the attack for free energy. You do 90 damage and take 30 less the following turn. So use Lucario and Melmetal's GX attack, whack a Metal Sorceron, and then you do 90 damage while taking 90 less the following turn and having no weakness. That sounds like it might be pretty ridiculous. Copperajah VMAX we haven't seen, but we know it's coming in the set. Dragapult VMAX, however, we have seen. 60 damage for 1 energy, go through any effects is fine. 2 psychic energy, 130, and drop 5 damage counters anywhere you like is fine. Not amazing, but fine. We know that we are getting Rillaboom, Cinderace, and Inteleon, though. Rillaboom, huge fan. The Rillaboom does 130 for 4 energy, but you may discard up to 3 grass energy and do 50 more for each one discarded, which means that you're actually doing up to 280, and doing 280 is pretty gosh darned phenomenal. Cinderace VMAX is actually becoming one of the very best decks in Japan at the moment. Free energy, 170 plus burn is quite nice, but also we've got 1 fire, 1 colorless, 30 damage, plus as much as was done to you the previous turn. That means that you can actually heal and still do the extra damage for the damage that you took, whereas generally, once you heal, you lose that extra damage. So that alone is, pretty gosh darned awesome. Inteleon VMAX is one that I wasn't a huge fan of, but it is doing pretty well over in Japan right now. It's winning quite a bit. 1 water energy, 60 damage. You may return an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon to their hand. And then, of course, you start combining this with things like Team Yell Grunt and Crushing Hammer. And all of a sudden, we've got the beginning of a pretty good energy denial deck. Or free energy, 160 damage, plus 60 to one of your opponent's bench. That could also be kind of fun. And we know we're getting Toxtricity VMAX. We did look at that one yesterday. Again, done videos on all of these. We'll link them in the description. And Toxtricity VMAX, you need to poison the defending Pokemon, right? If they're not poisoned, you're not doing very much. It becomes pretty rubbish. But if they are poisoned, then all of a sudden for just free energy, you're doing a fairly nice 240 damage. This one could also be kind of fun. We don't know what the 7th is, and we don't know what Copperage VMAX does, but we do at least know 6 of the 7. Now, in terms of special energy, we've actually seen 3 of them. Yesterday, I showed you Speed Energy. Speed Energy is a lightning energy that lets you draw 2 cards when you attach it to a lightning Pokemon. And I'm just having visions of Porygon Z with this. I think this with Porygon Z could be phenomenal, and you have my word on this, will be trying to break this wide open. Horror Energy I don't like quite as much. It is a psychic energy, and when attached to a psychic Pokemon, if they're damaged from an attack, they take 2 damage counters. Very much like the old Dangerous Energy, except it can be attached to a non-psychic Pokemon, and it does damage to anything, not just EXs, which is what Dangerous Energy did. Really, the best special energy we're getting is Twin Energy. Twin Energy is 2 colorless energy. It's double colorless energy, but only when attached to a non-V, non-GX. When attached to a V or a GX, it provides 1 colorless energy. I've even done a separate video about the best uses for Twin Energy. I think it's going to have a huge impact. We don't know what the 4th special energy is. We'll probably know on Friday. Now, as for the 15 trainer cards, we know a bunch of these. I'm not going to go through every single one, but there are a couple that I do want to just shout out quickly. Turffield Stadium lets you search for an evolved grass Pokemon. It's going to be great in grass decks. Sonya lets you search a deck for 2 basic Pokemon or 2 basic energy. That's going to see a fair bit of play. Milo lets you discard up to 2 cards from your hand and draw 2 for each one you discarded. That's going to be pretty good draw power. We're getting a reprint of Tool Scrapper, which is going to go straight into a huge amount of decks, because as it stands at the moment, we have no good tool removal. And then I showed you yesterday Scoop Up Net. Scoop Up Net's kind of ridiculous. It lets you pick up a non-GX, non-V Pokemon. You have to discard all the cards attached to it. Think of it like an Ace Roller, but only for a non-GX, non-V, and where you don't have to have a damaged Pokemon to pick them up. Yeah, as a side note, I didn't mention EXs in my video yesterday. This will let you pick up EXs like Shaman and Seismitoad. I'm going to be doing my own video on that particular interaction in a couple of days' time. So that's what we know about Rebel Clash. It's already shaping up to be an extremely good set. Cards like Cinderace are going to instantly become potentially best in the game meta decks, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Things like Turffield Stadium and Rillaboom are going to make grass decks better. Scoop Up Net and Twin Energy are going to make non-GX, non-V decks better. It really is shaping up to be an incredible set full of great cards. So that's everything you need to know for now, ladies and gentlemen. So I'd like to know what you think. I'd like to know which of these cards look good. I'd like to know your predictions for the set. I'd like to know whatever you'd like to tell me. So let me know in the comments section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but are pretty awesome nonetheless. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.